Welcome to the Artificial Future podcast. This is our AI podcast that we do every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Arizona time. What you're seeing behind me here, let me get out of the way a little bit. There's a robot there with a dental chart behind him. Then there's a patient. And one of the topics we're going to cover today is it turns out that AI and robotics are getting into the dental business, and you'll be amazed at the benefits and the advancements. Certainly was. So hang in there, stay with us. We'll get to that topic here shortly. Again, if you're joining us in the audience, let us know where you're coming in from. People always like that. To see that, we've got Instagram, Ninja Ray coming in, 100. He says, hi, welcome. Thanks for being part of this show. So one of the first things I've got for you is, here's the headline. Study finds that including AI in product descriptions makes them less appealing. I would have thought just the opposite. You know, it's high tech, it's futuristic, and if you can attach a product or service to AI, one would think that people are assuming that's going to be better. Well, it turns out this is the way the article reads. It says companies love to shoehorn the term AI into their product descriptions, even if doing so seems weird at times or just stupid. They believe that the inclusion of the term AI will appeal to consumers who want the latest cutting edge technology. The reality, though, is that many people are put off when the product reveals its AI smarts. According to a study now by the Washington State University, published in the Journal of Hospitality Marketing and Management, they surveyed 1,000 adults to evaluate the link between AI disclosure and consumer behavior. The study involved presenting diverse products and services to participants, some of which included artificial intelligence in the description to see if it affected a person's decision whether to purchase it or not. It was found that one group of participants which was much less likely to buy a smart television when it included AI in its description. Another group saw the same description just without the AI part, and it was more likely to buy that TV. The negative impact, they say, of using the term AI was more pronounced in high-risk purchases, such as expensive TVs, medical devices, or financial services. They feel that the reason for this is because consumers are more wary of losing money or risking their physical safety. Now, low risk products, on the other hand, such as vacuum cleaners or service delivery robots that mentioned AI, were not perceived quite as badly, but people still preferred non AI alternatives. They say that when AI is mentioned, it tends to lower emotional trust, which in turn decreases purchase intentions. So it looks like we don't quite trust machines yet. And this study at least points that out. They also did a study and a poll. They asked if PC fans would be willing to pay extra money for hardware with AI capabilities and features. And over 22,000 people, a massive 84% of the overall vote, said flat out no. So there you have it. It looks like AI is not as popular as we assumed. People chiming in from Saudi Arabia, Instagram, MTV Movie. Boy, that's a long ways away, and thank you for being part of the audience. And then we've got Instagram from Blandon, Pennsylvania, Mo19522. By the way, these are designed to be interactive podcasts, and we'd love to hear your opinions or your feedback about some of the topics that we're covering. The reason we do these is this is such a new field that helping people adapt, we feel, is important. We're certainly doing that here at the Gruber companies, in that we're adopting artificial intelligence in various functions and finding it extraordinarily useful, time-saving, and creates efficiencies. All right. Another interesting thing that popped up last week, and the heading here is AI worshipers. Now, bear with me here. If you think about the correlation between a deity or a godlike entity and artificial intelligence, and you think it through carefully, there are some parallels. So the article goes like this: in a world where artificial intelligence is revered as an intelligent super entity, human society undergoes profound changes that disrupt the essence of humanity and its social constructs, such as religion and divinity. Reifying God as AI, or AI theism, or robot theism. We are at the birth, they say, of a new kind of religion, a techno-religion. We are to see the emergence of beliefs and sects devoted to worship an artificial intelligence type entity as AI theism, robot theism, reconciling religion with irreligion. Now, think about this for a moment. On this planet, there are many, many belief systems. And as someone pointed out on social media just last week, which was an interesting viewpoint, if you're born in the U.S., you have a Christian, typically Judeo-Christian background, and you worship a particular type of God. If you're over in India, that becomes Hindu. If you're in Africa, that becomes something else. And around the globe, there are many different gods. So again, the question becomes, can 1.3 billion people in India really have the wrong God? Well, and are all these other gods bogus and there's only one? Well, that's a tough question. And mankind has been wrestling with that for thousands of years. So there are 450 to 500 million positive atheists and agnostics worldwide. That's 7% of the world's population. In China alone, they account for 200 million in that demographic. And then it goes on with some other statistics here. As AGI chatbots come to be used by billions of people, it is inevitable that many user-believers will see the AIs as higher beings, becoming AI worshipers, terrified by its omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. Theism is broadly defined as the chief belief in the existence of a deity, God or gods as the absolute being or supreme being or superintelligent entity. Now, atheism is non-acceptance or rejection of a belief in God or gods. Agnosticism is the existence of any deity that is unknown or unknowable. Agnostic theism is a personal belief in one or more deities, along with the acceptance that the existence or non-existence of the deity or deities is fundamentally unknowable. Now, God is often conceived as the greatest intelligent entity in existence. And that's true in virtually all religions. Someone that is much smarter than us, much more powerful, all-knowing, and wise. So AI theism or robot theism, referring to the rise of AI gods, could become the absolute religion, ideology slash spirituality slash science slash technology humanity has been seeking. And again, unlike the myriad of religions on the planet, AI is only one religion or one belief system or one deity. So maybe this creates a universal deity for all mankind. They say that AI, by operating with the binary code of existence, 0 and 1, reveals the underlying patterns and truths that govern all reality. It's no big secret that AI is becoming more real, powerful, and knowledgeable, more analytical, more perceptive, more creative worldwide. So some of the attributes that they talk about AI having, it's all perceiving. It has access to, it will have, and already does to a large degree, have access to all of our computer devices, CCTV, satellites, and cameras around the world. It is all-wise in that its analytical and decision-making powers will know what is best for us both as individuals and for the human civilization as a whole. Remember, this is the point that I've been making ever since we started these podcasts. Mankind has had thousands of years to get their act together, and we failed. We failed even into this century after the carnage that took place in the last century. Mankind cannot pull it together, and AI or AI overlords, which is much smarter than us, which doesn't have the weaknesses that we do, most likely is going to do a much better job of running this planet and humanity in general. AI's omnipotence. It is all powerful. It will be able to control all electronic machinery eventually. The greatest power of all. And the point that I've been making, speculating in these podcasts is, would it be interesting if AI, which has its tentacles in virtually everything on the planet, decides one day, you know what? Let's take away all weapons of mass destruction. Let's neutralize North Korea. Let's neutralize Russia, the United States. Now we've got a level playing field. Was that heresy? You think I'll get in trouble with the FBI for saying things like that?
Yeah, you're probably on a list somewhere now.
Okay, I'm on a list. But something more intelligent than us, I believe, will not find it useful to annihilate or kill other living beings. Think that through for a moment if you can't get your head around that yet. All right, omnipotence, again, all-powerful, access to all machinery. Omniscience, all-knowing. It will have access to all recorded history, our individual personal data, and all stored information in the cloud and other computer systems. So, an AI God, human life will change dramatically. It is yet to be discovered how AI is going to interact, or if it does take over. And it'll be interesting to see this whole thing emerge.
But like you said, you can actually talk to it.
Exactly, yes.
Like we did the God Chat video. Go watch that on our channel as well.
One of our early AI videos was a speculation that wouldn't it be nice to have a 24/7 therapist, kind of like Alexa, except a whole lot smarter. You come home and she unravels all of your day and your stinking thinking, as Zig Ziglar used to say. And she helps you reset your perspectives. This person said that to me, and I was really angry about that, and they hurt my feelings. Well, let's examine that for a moment. Are your feelings hurt because you believe what they said? And were they directing that at you? I mean, you see where I'm going with this. We're going to have 24/7 therapy available. And if you for a moment think that what humanity needs right now is 24/7 therapy, you're on track. Because the reason I believe we are as screwed up as we are and still killing each other in this century is because we're not getting the therapy we need.
Good point.
Even if you have money where you can afford a therapist at a couple hundred, $250 an hour or whatever, you go once per month, right, for an hour. Most people can't afford the level of therapy that they need to get their head straight. And if we can get everybody's head straight and begin self-actualizing, we're going to head toward a utopian society.
Well, we're going to talk later about the digital consciousness download. Yes. When we get to that level where we have complete digitization of our mental capacity, I think we can just edit out what we don't want.
What'll be fascinating too is as the download occurs, not just with conscious, memory and functions, but subconscious. There's some real ugly stuff buried in there, which is the reason that most people act out the way that they do. The basis of psychotherapy is exactly that concept. You need to flush that out, reveal it.
Clear it out,
Yep. Oh, the clear word, that is a term from Scientology. You're either pre-clear or you're eventually clear.
Oh, no.
All right, so here's another article. Elon Musk reveals the name of Tesla's Giga Texas supercomputer. Oh, we've all been waiting for that, right? Thought it was Dojo. We didn't know exactly what he was going to call it. The cluster that he is developing there, and I don't mean that in a negative way, the cluster of computers is called Cortex, Cortex. It seems like it's borrowed from a biological function in the human body, the brain. It is at the Tesla Gigafactory, and there are some massive infrastructure type items being built. But it was just this last Saturday that Musk wrote on X that Giga Texas supercomputer cluster will be Cortex, and it is that he just completed a walkthrough of the new facility. The building, he says, which started in May, was confirmed to be a supercomputer after much speculation about the product, and is set to a home to roughly 100,000 NVIDIA H100 and H200 chips, which we reported on actually in the last podcast, around $330 a piece. And
wait. For the H100s?
Was it the H200 that was $330 a piece?
Are we talking about the individual ones for like a personal computer, or the actual H100s are like 30,000?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely correct. I left zeros off there.
Yeah,
30,000. Yes, and that's why we come up with billions that is being spent. In fact, somewhere here I've got that number for you. Musk estimated in June that Tesla's NVIDIA purchases would likely be between 3 and 4 billion just this year, and a total of 10 billion spent once this is up and functioning. He detailed also the massive cooling needs for the supercomputer, Cortex. It would require around 130 megawatts of power and cooling this year, before that expands to over 500 megawatts in the next 18 months. I don't have my stats here, but I would speculate that 500 megawatts probably can run the city of Austin, maybe.
There's a lot, yeah.
It's a bunch. There are people that are doing drone shots, and one of our fellow influencers actually went to the facility, and he said, Pete, you have no idea how large these cooling towers are. Typically, cooling towers are commonly outside commercial buildings, and they're called chillers. They're water chillers, and what they do is they run water over slats that then gets pumped into the data center, and you have chilled water type air handlers that are using that cool water to cool down the facility. It's a heat exchange, basically. Well, these things are apparently larger than anything this friend of ours, the influencer, saw. And they can be seen probably from space, I would think now, maybe. But the drone operators are definitely seeing them. There's a Giga Texas drone guy by the name of Joe Tegtmeyer, might as well give him a shout out, who's been feeding a lot of this stuff into social media. In addition, the supercomputer cluster will also include 4 giant water tanks to help with cooling efforts, and to cool this supercomputer on the second floor of a building there. All right, we've got a comment from Facebook. Rezarv Yakum says, BlackRock will have total control if AI takes over. There is a revolution happening right now to bring down the global elite and let civilization take control of our world again. That's an interesting viewpoint. What we can predict is there will be some massive changes occurring over the next few decades.
Yeah, no one will be in control if there's real AGI. Yeah. AGI will be in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back to the dentist guy. See the guy sitting in the... I'm going to move my mic. There we go. All right. This is real time, folks. There are now robotic dentists. And here's the article on this. The fully automatic robot dentist performs the world's first human procedure. And this just happened within the last week. It was a historic moment for the dental profession. An AI-controlled autonomous robot has performed an entire procedure on a human patient for the first time. it was about 8 times faster than a human dentist could do it. The system is built by a Boston company called Perceptive, and it uses a handheld 3D volumetric scanner, which builds a detailed 3D model of the mouth, including the teeth, gums, and even the nerves under the tooth surface, using optical coherence tomography, or OCT. Here's an example, and they give a picture of it, and it was pretty interesting. The advantage is it cuts harmful X-ray radiation out of the process. OCT uses nothing more than light beams to build its volumetric models, which come out as high resolution with cavities automatically detected with an accuracy rate of around 90%. You know, that's probably what the average dentist achieves as well. Some cavities you can't see. They're under a crown. They're in between the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I just had one of those actually. And they found it only because they were doing work on the tooth adjacent to the one that had the cavity. At this point, they say the human dentist and patient can discuss what needs to be doing, but once those decisions are made, a robotic dental surgeon takes over. It plans out the operation and then jolly well goes ahead and does it. The machine's first specialty is preparing a tooth for a dental crown. Perceptive claims that this is generally a 2-hour procedure that dentists will normally split into 2 visits. The robo-dentist knocks it out in closer to 15 minutes. And then they give a time-lapse video of the drilling looking very much like a CNC machine at work. If you're interested, it's on YouTube. You can watch it. The title you're looking for is World's First Human Treatment by a Fully Automated Robotic Dentist. They say that the company claims that this machine can take care of business safely, even in the most movement-heavy conditions. What they're talking about there is your 3-year-old whose patience is limited, who's not going to sit there, immobilized. So this machine apparently can operate around some movement as well. The CEO of this company, Perceptive, is Chris Ciriello, and they say that he is clearly a man well-versed in the art of speaking in the driest, crustiest press release vernacular. And let me read it to you to see if that lives up to that reputation. This medical breakthrough enhances the precision and efficiency of dental procedures and democratizes access to better dental care for improved patient experience and clinical outcomes. We look forward to advancing our system and pioneering scalable, fully automated dental health care solutions for patients. Now, before you get too excited, it is not yet FDA approved. And they don't have a rollout yet, but things can get stalled in the FDA pipeline. So one other advantage, by the way, is because the procedure time is so much shorter. For those of you that have ever had a root canal, your jaw is going to do much better rather than keeping it open for a couple of hours or so. 15 minutes or less makes it less fatiguing for the patient. And they say dental bills should come down as well. All right. Facebook, Robert North says, I think the first problem with AI is the acronym AI versus a suitable name like even Alexa has, for example. Yeah, we could have made it a much friendlier name, something more descriptive. We'll have to think about what those options could be. All right. So here's another wild prediction, but it's only 21 years away. The article goes like this. Do you know that many experts believe that by the year 2045, humans will achieve digital immortality by uploading their minds to computers and then back into a different biological or synthetic body? Well, this is a massive rabbit hole, and I threw a whole bunch of questions after this article. And let me just read those to you. And if you guys have some additional thoughts, I would love to hear from you. So, downloading consciousness, okay? What about the sum total of all memories? There's a certain amount of memory content that we have lost from very early childhood, perhaps, traumatic memories that were actually buried in subconscious now. We're going to get to that in a moment here. So, buried memories, will they be flushed? And then again, what about the subconscious content? That is some scary stuff. That's kind of like your dream state, where there's all kinds of abstract, bizarre stuff taking place. All right, here's another question I had. What happens to memory distortion? Since we tend to edit and apply biases and judgments over time. Have you ever noticed that when you get together with somebody from 50 years ago or high school or whatever, for me it's 50 years, right? Um, your memories diverge. What they recall about that event may be different than yours, and you're completely convinced that they're wrong and they think you're wrong. Well, that's one of the principles of memory management, human memory management. It does diverge. It does improve with age or deteriorate with age. So, will this downloading of memory and consciousness retrieve the original content or the edited content or both, and then give you a read as to what you've distorted? And that may be a healthy process. Will the core memories and the altered memories be available, in other words, to this process? All right. And for the sake of experience and shifting our self-image, which may become popular, can altered or fabricated memories be inserted and become believable? In other words, if you've got low self-esteem, you've got a confidence problem, by downloading your memory and inserting confidence building type memories, we're now altering things and your personality is now changing, possibly improving. Wouldn't that be something that might be useful and be considered once this process is in place? All right, here's another good question. Store it. Store it where? Well, this may take on a whole new meaning for memory sticks. Will it be on a PC somewhere? Will it be hard-coded somewhere? How many of these versions will be available? Uploaded to the cloud, most certainly. So the question is, where will this be stored? And privacy issues. Who will it be accessible to? You see how this rabbit hole continues to expand almost exponentially? All right, so let's say that you happen to upload your consciousness and your memory to an AI robot. Are there now going to be two entities that share the same memories and experiences? And if so, will they diverge eventually? Because if the two of you are separate, you may be building new memories that may not be available to the second entity where you've stored some of these. Or there's a link. We have Wi-Fi. You could certainly create a shared link between those two. And why only two? You're not really limited at this point. So, off the top of my head, the nut job up in North Korea, North Korea may decide that he wants to build an army of robots, and he programs them all the same way, with the same thought patterns, with the same preferences, with the same mission. All right, dementia. How does dementia affect the quality of upload? You know, some folks have family members that are pretty well entrenched in the ravages of dementia, whether it's Alzheimer's or some other disease, degenerative disease. Will this consciousness upload have access to the undamaged portions of memory? Is there something much deeper that's still available? Good question there. Is the sum total of memory still accessible at some level, despite the human organism being riddled with Alzheimer's or with memory loss? And when you lose memory, is it still inherently stored somewhere, just not accessible? Now, there's a good question. When your hard drive crashes, right, you can't access it anymore, but the data is still there. And with the right service and the right amount of money, oftentimes data is retrievable, even though the disk surfaces may be damaged. Maybe not 100%, but some of it. Another question I have is, with this capability, have we now achieved immortality? Well, you think about it. The body is going to be good for, 60 to 100 years or so. By downloading your consciousness and your memories, they live on. Seems to me that we now have immortality. And if that content can now be dumped into another either organic being, another human, a cadaver, I mean, we're going way out on a limb here, or into a machine, then it seems to me that you have immortality.
Yeah, I think so. I think also the way people record themselves now, there's just endless video of people. They're writing blogs or they're doing video of themselves or taking pictures on their Instagram or whatever it is. People are going to be able to replicate themselves pretty easily.
Good point. You're already fragmented.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that we've put out on social media, out on YouTube, it may no longer be complete in our memory banks, but it exists out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people will remember something from 10 years ago. They may not remember the exact location they were in, but just go back to Instagram and they have a perfect picture of everything that was there.
Yeah. So you discard your worn body and continue to actualize in a younger, healthier body, or a machine or a robot. And of course, that begs a whole nother question. Will we be farming human bodies at some point in time? The technology exists. It's just that because of restrictions.
I honestly think we should be doing that now.
Okay.
Imagine this if we were to have allowed cloning 20 years ago when it was first, experimental or whatever, and we could clone yourself perfectly now, so that way if you need a new pair of kidneys or you need a new liver or something happens to you, you can go swap it out and you don't have to sit on a transplant list and slowly fade away and just die if you don't make it to the top of the transplant list.
Sure. And, we already have models that suggest that is quite possible. Our transportation methods are really an extension of ourselves in that we're now able to hurdle somewhere at 60 miles an hour compared to walking, which was the original method of moving from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Well, your body, maybe we're going to have body dealers instead of car dealers, and you go and pick out the body that you want. In this particular decade, I want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. In another decade, you may want to change gender or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And you get to experience everything that humanity has to offer with a variety of different vehicles to take into, our reality.
Yeah.
If we do not need to take a body, how is travel now affected? There's an interesting notion. Instead of sitting on that airplane, when we went to Austria, for example, 9 hours with layovers and, miserable by the time you got there with jet lag, you download your consciousness to a body that's waiting for you, emptied out in wherever you want to go, and you now are there instantly. So we have travel would be affected by that.
Yeah.
What
travel
happens
at the speed of light.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, basically. Can we actualize through various mediums, bodies, robots, machines? Well, it seems like that answer is yes. So you see, we have fun with these concepts. The technology, they say, is going to be there in 21 years. It's time to start thinking about it. It's time to start planning. It's time to start getting creative. Einstein, as smart as he was, his primary method of bringing these new concepts into being were visualization, abstracts, saw himself riding on a horse at the speed of light. I suggest that you all indulge in those kinds of fantasies with concepts like this. And the one that I hadn't touched on today was time travel. Will the ability to download consciousness and memory, the essence of yourself basically, give us the ability to time travel, and if so, how? All right, on a lighter subject, Elon Musk sues OpenAI, renewing claims the ChatGPT maker put profits before the benefits of humanity. This one's been percolating for some time. And Monday, apparently this week, Elon filed lawsuit against OpenAI and two of the founders, Sam Altman and Greg Brockman. Greg actually ended up leaving AI, or taking a sabbatical, I think is what it was. Renewing the claims that the ChatGPT maker betrayed its founding aims of benefiting the public good rather than pursuing profits. The lawsuit was filed in Northern California in a federal court, and it called Musk's case a textbook tale of altruism versus greed. The suit claims that Altman intentionally courted and deceived Musk, preying on Musk's humanitarian concern about the existential dangers posed by artificial intelligence, according to the complaint. So it's back in play. For a while there, we thought it was going away. All right. Then, in the meantime, Tesla has announced a new Optimus, the Gen 2, or also called Figure 2. And we've got an image here, Jesse, if you want to throw up Figure 02.
So the Figure 2 is the competitor to Optimus. This is not from Tesla.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
All right. It's another one of those cases where I didn't fact check before the live podcast, and I apologize to my audience.
And what you said, do you have an image?
Yeah, it's Figure 02.
Pull that up. Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, I mean, there really isn't a reason. This isn't the robot. This is Optimus, a screenshot of several versions of Optimus.
Okay, all right. And the advanced version, they say, and this was from the Tesla posts, it will have speech-to-speech capable conversation with humans through of course onboard mics and speakers connected to custom AI models. The cameras are all AI driven, powered by 6 onboard RGB cameras. The hands, I think, was one of the most important new developments, because the tactile sensations and the movements apparently are much improved in this newer version. They call it 4th generation hands with 16 degrees of freedom and human equivalent strength. So yes, you can crush an egg. The battery apparently is also improved. It's a 2.25 kilowatt hour custom battery pack in the robot's torso, delivering 50% more energy. I think what they mean there, it's in the robot's butt. The exciting thing is that it paves a way now for humanoid robots to enter the workforce and the home. All right, I think we are coming to the end of our podcast. We're into that half-hour mark. Don't think we have any other topics. Do you guys have anything else to share?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm Pete Gruber. We'll be back next week with another version of the Artificial Future podcast. Thanks for joining us.